right, hello everybody. What we've got to do today is we're going to be making a cone, and then we're going to be drawing it. And what I've got right here is a little it's a paper that you're going to cut out and put together. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to download it and put it on my website, and you can print it out and then do this along with me. So we're going to cut it out and use it so that we have something to look at while we draw the cone, just like we did when we drew the sphere. It always helps to have something to look at. All right, so let's get busy. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to have you make some observations. We're going to look at the cone and see what similarities we can find with how the light affects the cone, how it's similar to how the light affected the sphere. So if you look here, again, you'll remember we had the areas that we're looking for are the highlight, the transitional area, the core of the shadow, the reflected light, and the cast shadow. So this is your highlight on this side because my light is on that side. And then this is a transitional area. It's just gradually getting a little bit darker as it comes close to the core. There's your core right there. And then you can see that you're getting the reflected light back in the other part of the beyond the core. So core, and then you get some reflected light back up in here. And then this, of course, is your cast shadow. And take a look at how the cast shadow is not just a perfect cone shape. So it's good to notice these little things because these are how you get it to feel more real. So I've only got one light source in here for the most part. So even with just one light source, I'm still getting a range of tones outside of the shadow. So when we draw it, we're going to draw that. We'll draw our darkest area here. It's hard to see on this video, but you'll be able to see it once you make your cone. There is some reflected light in the shadow. And then there's also these transitional areas outside of the shadow. All right.
All right, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to do very similar to like what I did with the sphere. Start with your basic shape, your outline. If you want to use a ruler, you can. I'm going to do the curvy bottom. Alright, so that's my basic shape. Now, just like with the sphere, I'm going to give the whole thing a light tone. it together. And actually, I am going to blend outside of the line over here, and I'll show you why in a minute. What it is I want the brightest area to be the highlight. So behind, if you'll notice, take a look when you get your cone, you'll really notice that the highlight is the brightest. So even the background, here, brightest and background behind it is even though it's got light on it, it's still darker than where the light hits the cone. So I'm gonna give it a little bit, and there's actually smoother ways to do this. I can show you that later, but it involves more tools and stuff, and so I'm trying to first provide you with a simple way that you can just do with pencil, eraser, copy paper. One thing that's a lot of fun to do, if you have toned paper, do this whole thing on toned paper. Makes it a lot faster and easier. Actually, you do toned paper and then you just use white pencils. That is actually a lot of fun. They come out really nice. Alright, so I'm blending out of the line here. And try to smooth it in pretty good. Alright. And now I'm going to go find this edge, which is my highlight edge. Then I'm going to lighten up my transition a bit, just so it blends nicely. Alright, and if you want that even to pop out a little more, go a little darker behind it. We're going to find the core. We're going to locate the core, which I'm seeing it as being right about here. And I'm trying to use curvy strokes that sort of, because this whole thing is curvy, obviously, so you want the strokes, the pencil strokes to be curvy also. And I actually want to darken up the whole entire shadow. definitely want your shadow should be darker than your transition area. I am pressing very lightly, and the reason why is because I know I'm trying to reserve my darkest dark for my cast shadow, so I want to make sure I don't get too dark here. I want to have that bright area show up, the reflected light in the middle. Now you can't see the core that much, so I've got to go a little darker on the core. Art is a little bit like meditation. You just kind of got to be patient and take your time. So let's go ahead and do the cast shadow. And what I'm seeing is something like this. These things take so much time. Makes the drawing along with me is the best way to enjoy these videos, because otherwise if you just sit there and watch it, it can get kind of long. Shading, to do it right, really takes time. Actually, to do it really right, it would take even more time than I'm taking here. But this is good enough to give you the idea. Alright, I'm gonna blend this, and then I'm gonna go outside of the line a little bit, because you'll remember we saw that there was some soft transition on the outside of more precise with the soft transition did kind of take a bit of a shape, but I think this is sufficient. And all right, so remember, just like with the sphere, the part right here gets quite a bit darker. And then sort of blends off into it. Kind of like that. And we are just about there. That gives you the basic idea. Again, you know, the final thing is kind of cleaning it up a little to get your nice crisp edges, but I could make this edge a little darker. But that's the idea there. So, there you have it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. Have fun. Roll it back if you need to and take your time.